Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be choosing my July TBR. I have not made a TBR video in quite some time, and because I'm working through my physical TBR this summer, as some of you may know, I am on a book buying ban. I wanted to make a July TBR to try and get through as much as my physical TBR this month as possible, and to really keep my mind focused on the physical TBR. So I have my TBR cart here. Recently I have not been pulling from this cart as much as I should be, so I'm really hoping that some of these prompts will get me to read something that I haven't wanted to reach for in the past. I'm not limiting myself to the physical TBR because I am actually going to spin a wheel for 2 of this month's books. I put every single book on my physical TBR, that includes everything on this cart and then everything on my bookshelves that I haven't read yet, into a wheel, and I'm going to spin the wheel and we are kind of going to have to read whatever it lands on. I'm a little scared of that because there's literally no choice in those books. I kind of just have to go with what it says, and I've never done that before, I don't think, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I think it's going to be for the best and it's going to get me out of my comfort zone, and we're going to be tackling the physical TBR. So it's a win-win-win situation. I'm really excited to try this out for the first time, and hopefully this will be productive and helpful and we can continue doing these TBR videos. I miss doing them. I think they were some of the most fun to film, so I'm excited to make this video. I'm excited to read some really great books in July and to make a dent in my physical TBR, hopefully. So let's get into it. Like I said, the first 2 books we're going to pick are going to be from the spinning wheel. I think in total we'll pick 6 books. 4 of them are going to be prompts from my TBR jar. I'm bringing out this jar again. It has been sitting and acquiring dust on the top of my bookshelf now for probably 2 years. If you remember this jar, you are a true OG on this channel. But yeah, we're gonna pick 4 prompts from the jar, and then we're gonna do 2 books from the spinning wheel. I'm so excited, but I'm also so nervous. I think we should start with the spinning wheel because it's gonna be the most scary and the most fun at the same time. So let's get those out of the way. Here is the wheel. It looks kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but it's also fun. The opportunities are endless. It's so fun. All right, here I go. It's going to be the first spin in the first book on the July TBR. What will it be? Okay, unfortunately, I think this is actually the second book in a series. Yes, I believe it is. The first book is actually called The Betrothed, and it's by Kiera Cass. And this one, The Betrayed, is the second book. So I'm going to respin because obviously it wouldn't make sense to read a second book in a series. So let's respin and see what we get. I just spun and we got Verity. The spinning wheel has spoken, and we have Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm not gonna lie, this was an unexpected choice on behalf of the wheel. I kind of have been putting this book off for 3+ years now, so it's about time that I read this, and I've also heard it's really good. I know Colleen Hoover gets a lot of backlash, but I do feel like the one thing I've consistently heard about Colleen Hoover is that Verity is her best book, and it's not even close. Everyone I've talked to who has read Verity raves about it, even if they didn't like her other books. So let me grab Verity and we'll talk about it. Okay, this is her. I'm gonna read the back so that we know what the book's about. Lowen Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts a job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her. Interesting. So to me, this sounds like a romantic thriller, which I don't think I've ever read a romantic thriller before. So this would be definitely a new subgenre, I guess, for me. I'm intrigued. I'm excited to get into this and to finally check this off my list. It's probably one of the oldest books on my physical TBR. So this is a really good choice, and I'm pleasantly surprised. But I'm also cautiously optimistic. So that is the first book for the July TBR. Let's spin the wheel again. Okay, I'm actually so excited about this one. A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Actually, a couple days ago, I picked this book up off my shelf and was flipping through it a little bit, thinking about reading it. So this is a really good pick. I'm very happy with this pick. I've been meaning to read this one for a while as well. Let me go grab it. This book has received very mixed reviews, so I don't know what I'm going to think about it, but I'm very much in a fantasy mood, so I'm very pleased with this choice from our spinning wheel. Let us read and figure out what this book is about. Effie Sayre has always believed in fairy tales. She's had no choice. Since childhood, she's been haunted by visions of the Fairy King. She's found solace only in the pages of Angharad, Amaris Mirdan's beloved epic about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King and then destroys him. Effie's tattered copy is all that's keeping her afloat through her first term at the prestigious Lyrian Architecture College. Okay, so we're gonna have an academic setting. That's very exciting. So when Mirdan's family announces a contest to redesign the late author's estate, Effie feels certain this is her destiny. But Hiraeth Manor is an impossible task, a musty, decrepit house on the brink of crumbling into a hungry sea, and when Effie arrives, someone else has already made a temporary home there. Preston Haylori, a stodgy young literature scholar, is determined to prove Effie's favorite author is a fraud. As the two rival students investigate the reclusive author's legacy, piecing together clues through his letters, books, and diaries, they discover that the house's foundation isn't the only thing that can't be trusted. There are dark forces, both mortal and magical, conspiring against them, and the truth may bring them both to ruin. What an evocative summary of this book. I am really excited to get to this finally this month. Like I said, I'm very much in a fantasy mood recently, so this is a super exciting pick. I'm feeling good so far about this TBR. I was really worried about the spinning wheel, but so far, 2 great picks. Definitely getting me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the TBR jar. I have not even looked at these prompts in over 2 years now, so we're definitely in for a treat. I'm gonna pick 4 prompts from the jar, and then based on the prompt, I'll kind of decide from my TBR cart what I'm gonna read in July. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes when I'm describing things, I feel like I'm making absolutely no sense. I have to put my mic on my shirt while I do this. Okay. I've grabbed one, I think. Ah, that's 2. All right. A Friends to Lovers. Okay, this is one of my favorite tropes in romance. Let me see if I have anything that would fall under this trope on my cart. Definitely not that. Okay, one book on here that I'm spotting automatically is People We Meet on Vacation. I know this is a friends to lovers trope, but I have already read this book a few years ago, so this would be a reread. I would prefer to read something that I haven't read already to tackle the physical TBR, but we will keep this in mind in case I can't find anything else. Okay guys, I fear I have found the book that we're gonna pick, and that is Into the Blue by Emma Brodie. I've been meaning to read this for a few months now, and on the inside cover it says that they forge a bond first as friends, then as acting partners, so I think this is gonna be friends to lovers. I'm actually terrified of this book because I have seen so many people sobbing their eyes out after reading this. It's really easy for a book to make me emotional and make me cry, and I just feel like this one is definitely gonna do that, so I've kind of been avoiding it because of that. Anyways, I think this is the one we're gonna have to go with because like I said, I have already read People We Meet on Vacation, so it's not a priority for me, but this one I have not read, so I think we're gonna go with Into the Blue. Let's read the description. In the summer of 2000, AJ Graves dreams of writing for Saturday Night Live. Instead, she's stuck working in a video rental store with slim odds of escaping her small Massachusetts town. Then in walks Noah Drew, the enigmatic and intense scion of the Drew acting dynasty, and her life changes forever. Despite wildly different upbringings, the two forge a deep cosmic bond, first as friends, then as acting partners, until one day Noah disappears without a word. 7 years later in New York City, AJ is shocked to find herself cast in the same intergalactic TV production as Noah, by then a well-known Hollywood heartthrob. As their on-screen characters grow closer every day, the lines between reality and acting begin to blur. Unable to stay away from each other, AJ and Noah are forced to confront the truth of what happened years ago and the devastating secret that will send their lives careening apart, even as fate continues to draw them together. Oh, I just know this one's gonna break my heart. I'm scared. But this is the 3rd book on the July TBR. Let's pick another prompt. A book published in your birthday month. That's really exciting. I don't think I've ever pulled this prompt before. I completely forgot that I even had this as a prompt. But let's look and see if anything was published in February. I'm gonna start with the ones on top because these are kind of the ones that I want to read. You can tell because I've pulled them out to look at recently, and that's why they're just kind of sitting on top. Okay, this one doesn't have a month. I might have to look on Goodreads for this one. This one was published in January, so we can't do When the Moon Hatched. Serpent and Wings of Night was August. This might be harder than I thought. Okay. Third one, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This was published February 27th, 2024. This is perfect. I have been eyeing this book a few times over the past month to pick up, so this is absolutely perfect. I'm really excited to read this. I'm very much in the mood for a book like this. Yay, I'm really excited. Okay, let's read the description. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son, Bjorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack. And it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Skaland beneath the one who controls the shield maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Skaland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. This sounds really good. I'm so excited to pick this up in July. This has gone really well. I'm actually really surprised. Okay, on to the next prompt. We only have 2 left. Let's see what the TBR Jar Gods have in store for us. A book with a great first line. This is a great prompt. I actually was reading the first line of a few books the other day with my husband and using that to determine if I was gonna read them anytime soon. The 2 books that I was actually reading the first line of to him to get his opinion on which book I should read were these 2. Direbound and City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards and Sable Sorensen. The first line of City of Gods and Monsters is, if you so much as look at her again, I will break all 4 of your legs, pup. That's pretty good. And then the first line of Direbound is, blood drips into my right eye. I feel like City of Gods and Monsters has a better first line, so I'm gonna pick this one. I'm really hoping the next prompt will let me pick Direbound because I really wanna read Direbound. We shall see, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. Death is only the beginning. Lauren Calla has only ever been ordinary. As a human living in Angel Theme, a city of vampires, werewolves, witches, and other supernatural creatures, she's always assumed her life would remain simple, predictable, and as safe as her world would allow. But when she barely escapes abduction at the hands of Darkslayers, supernatural bounty hunters, and one of her friends is taken in their place, Lauren will do whatever it takes to get her back. She'll even accept help from Darian Castle, leader of the most ruthless darkslaying circle in the city. Darian is Lauren's only chance of finding her friend alive. If she can somehow manage not to fall head over heels in love with him. Easier said than done. Their search for answers takes them deep into Angel Theme's corrupt underbelly to a dark secret that threatens to unravel their world. When tragedy strikes, can Lauren learn that love makes an ordinary person do extraordinary things? This sounds really good. I've heard this is kind of similar to Crescent City, and I absolutely loved Crescent City. I'm really looking forward to reading something similar. I'm hoping that this has the same scope and scale. I'm feeling really good about this stack so far. It's now time to pick the last book, the last prompt. Let's see what we get. Percy Jackson, Book 1. Is this even on my physical TBR? I did write this prompt like 2 years ago, so I don't even know if this is on my physical TBR because I've already read this back in middle school. So I don't know if I actually included this on my physical TBR. Let us look. Okay. It is on my physical TBR. This is so random. Here it is, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. This is book 1. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little shocked right now by this choice, but I guess it's fun to read something that I haven't read in a really long time. I read this back when I was maybe 12 or 13, very young, so it's been a long time. When it comes to books that I read when I was younger that I'm still potentially interested in, a lot of the time, I will kind of act as if I never read it if a lot of time has passed. I don't know if I really need to read the description of this book. This is a Greek mythology, fantastical middle grade story by Rick Riordan. I feel like everyone knows and what it's about. I'm feeling tempted to pick a different one, I'm not gonna lie, because I have already read this book and I don't know if this is like worth my time. Don't hate me. I think I'm gonna pick a different prompt. I just really wanna focus on my physical TBR, and I know this is technically on it, but I did read this when I was younger. And the only reason I put it on it is because maybe one day I would like to read it again, but I just feel like there are other books that I've never even looked at before in depth that I could be checking off the list. So let's pick a different prompt. It's a free pick, guys. I am so glad I did not go with Percy Jackson. I'm so sorry. I'm just not in the mood for this. I've already read it. This is so exciting because I can choose Diary Bound, which is exactly what I wanted. So this is perfect. This is literally like a god tier TBR. I'm so pleased with this. I've been meaning to read this for so long, and I'm also reading this for a video, which I'm really excited about. So this month is gonna be a blast. Okay, let's find out what this book is about. Maren Cooper has always hated the bonded, elite warriors who form mental links with the massive, vicious dire wolves they ride. The bonded live in luxury, while Maren struggles to keep her family out of poverty. When her little sister, Sayla, is kidnapped, stolen across the border by the immortal monsters her country has spent centuries fighting, Maren's world falls apart. Desperate to cross the front and save her sister, Maren enlists in the army and is thrown into the deadly bonding trials where any mistake will cost her life. Now Maren must survive 4 months of training at the castle. She is bound to a feral direwolf who refuses to communicate. The other trainees would love to spill her common blood, and her cold and beautiful instructor, Stark Therian, is eager to punish any weakness. Everything is a competition and everyone is out to get her. Everyone except the dangerously handsome crown prince, whose attention adds another target to her back. In the castle, every smile hides a knife. In the halls hide dark secrets. I'm so excited to read this. I have a feeling I'm gonna love this. It's either I'm gonna love it or it's gonna be really cliche. And there's gonna be no in between, I feel like. Okay, this is our stack for July. Let's review all the books. We have Verity by Colleen Hoover, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, Into the Blue by Emma Brody, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards, and lastly, Diary Bound by Sable Sorensen. It's gonna be a fantastic month of reading. I'm so excited. I also wanted to mention that on top of these, I am reading Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh for my book club with my best friend. And I will probably also read something else on top of that because I'm always constantly listening to audiobooks. But that is the TBR. I'm so excited. And that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. And I will talk to you guys very soon in my next one.